So Waite Discipuli. Today we are going to be reviewing chapter 22 again. And just a couple of reminders before we get started. You are going to be needing to turn in your vocabulary list soon. So I recommend as soon as you do finish that, go ahead and turn it in so that you don't forget. And then you also have a Vulgate assignment to do as well. So make sure that you finish that and turn it in. I've been getting a couple of assignments turned in onto the class wall. This is fine for now, but in the future I'm going to be just grading the assignments that are turned in correctly and on the correct page. I've posted a document to your class wall that you can look at to help you figure out how to turn in assignments correctly. So make sure you check that out and turn them into the right spot so that you get full credit for it. If you're ever unsure, if you're missing an assignment or anything like that, you can go ahead into your RenWeb gradebook. I'm updating that pretty frequently. So if you see an M, that stands for missing, and that means that I haven't seen or you haven't turned in one of the assignments. So go ahead and make sure that you're checking that and turning in everything that you need to. If you have any questions about any of that, feel free to let me know. So today we're going to be wrapping up Numbers from chapter 22. We are not going to be pronouncing our vocabulary list again, but I do recommend that you go ahead and read through that one more time just to make sure those words are sticking in your head. Today we're going to be talking about Roman numerals one last time, so if you need to be on page 166 in your books, so make sure you have that out and are ready to go. We are not going to be doing any more exercises that include Roman numerals, but I did just want to review them really quickly because they are going to be on your chapter 22 quiz. So Roman numerals are at the top of page 166. Remember, each symbol stands for a number, and those are all listed for you at the top of the page. In your last assignment, we did some basic math problems with Roman numerals involved. So hopefully you did pretty well with that. If you have any questions about any of those that you weren't sure about, please feel free to ask me. Okay, at the bottom of page 166, you see the section 59 that says Cardinal Numbers. And that's what we're going to be focusing on today. So the cardinal numbers are the counting numbers, or what we would call like the words for numbers. So we have the first three are unus, duo, and trace. In chapter 22, you see duo and trace listed out for you in your charts. I wanted to go ahead and remind you that unus, the first one, is actually one of the adjectives listed from chapter 21. So for today's assignment, what you're going to be doing is parsing some phrases that have these unus, duo, and trace numbers in them. So you're going to want to mark page 152 to help you with that. Page 152 goes back to chapter 21. And on that page, you see ulus, ula, ulum listed in a chart. And that is the chart that unus uses as well. So unus is going to use those endings. So if you're looking for a form of unus, that's where you're going to find it. So you're going to want to look at page 152 while you parse some numbers. So that's where unus is. And then duo and trace are in this chapter. They're on pages 166 and 167. So remember, when you parse, you're going to need to give case, gender, number, and translation. So case, you're going to need to give me either nominative, genitive, one of those. Number is whether it's singular or plural, and then gender is going to be masculine, feminine, or neuter. Now numbers, gender is a little bit different. Number is a little bit different because the definition of the number is going to indicate how many there are. So unus, if you have a phrase that includes unus or any form of unus, that is automatically going to be singular because it's going to be referring to one thing. Duo and trace, if you look at the charts on pages 166 and 167, you'll notice that there's only one chart for each of those. There's not two. Usually we have a singular chart and a plural chart. Any form of duo and trace is automatically going to be plural, because if you have two of anything, it's automatically plural. If you have three of anything, it's automatically plural. So what I'm going to do is give you some examples of how to parse number phrases. So the first one that we're going to do is duobus templice. Duobus templice. And if you don't remember, templice is just the word for temple. So we're going to need to do case, number, gender for that. So duobus, if you look at the chart at the bottom of page 166 and you find duobus, that is in several different parts of the chant. So what you're going to want to do first is figure out the gender so that you can kind of narrow down what you're looking for. And the gender is going to come from the noun. So templice, if you remember, is templium templi, and that is neuter. So you're going to want to make sure that you find the gender of the noun before you get started. So duobus templice. Templice is neuter, so our phrase is going to be neuter. That means we can narrow down what we're looking at, and we're just looking at the neuter column. So duobus in the neuter column appears in dative and ablative. You may pick one of those. You don't have to say both. So we would say dative or ablative, plural because we've got a version of duo, which means it's automatically plural, and then neuter because templice is neuter. So duobus templice is dative or ablative, plural, and neuter. And then the last thing we're going to do is translate. So if we picked dative, we would say 2 or 4, 2 temples. If we picked ablative, we would say by, with, or from 2 temples. So make sure that you translate those phrases as well. We're going to do a couple more examples just to get you started, and then you guys will be on your own. The second example we're going to do is trace pueri. Trace pueri. So again, case, number, gender. So first of all, we need to figure out gender so that we narrow down what we're looking at in the chart. And we get that from the noun. Pueri is from puer, pueri, and that is masculine. If you can't remember the noun's gender, make sure that you look it up so that you get the right thing. So we are going to be looking at the neuter chart for trace, which is on page 167. So we're going to find trace pueri is masculine. That's wrong. I said neuter. I meant masculine. So puer is masculine. So we're going to find in the masculine and feminine part of the trace chant, we've got trace pueri. That can be either nominative or accusative. So we've got nominative, plural because it's trace. Trace is automatically plural. Nominative or accusative, plural, and masculine. And then make sure that you translate. Nominative and accusative don't have any extra words that you translate them with, so you can just say 3 boys. The last one we're going to look at is actually a form of unus. So this is where chapter 21 comes into play, page 152. And our phrase is unus gladius. And unus gladius, we need to get the gender first, and so that's going to come from gladius, which is masculine. Unus is, again, just one, so it's going to be singular. So we have masculine singular, and then the us on unus is going to be nominative singular. So we've got nominative, singular, and masculine, and that would translate to 1 sword. So that is parsing number phrases. If you have any questions or are confused, feel free to let me know. You're going to be using the charts of unus, duo, and trace for these, so make sure that you know where those are located and have them available so that you can find them when you're parsing. So make sure that you're turning in your assignments. And again, if you have any questions about anything, always feel free to let me know. And I think that's it for today. Walay te discipuli.